Hello, welcome to our lessons. We are still on volcanicity, but before the lesson continues, let us review the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, we talked about laccoliths, where we said laccoliths are formed when there is an intrusion of magma through a line of weakness within the earth crust. When the magma meets a hard layer of rock, the magma is unable to melt the rock, and so it solidifies around the rock, forming a mushroom-like feature known as laccoliths. We also talked about lopoliths as another intrusive volcanic landform. We said with lopoliths, when there is an intrusion, the weight of overlying rocks causes the sinking of the intrusion, forming a shallow-like basin, which is normally called lopoliths. We also talked about faccoliths. We said faccoliths are formed on the crest of anticlines and trough of synclines. So normally, because mountainous areas have anticlines and synclines, which are valleys, normally this kind of intrusion happens in mountainous areas. We also looked at the cross-section of an extrusive volcano. We said extrusive volcanoes are volcanoes that are formed on the surface of the earth. So we looked at the various parts of those extrusive volcanoes that are formed on the surface of the earth. We talked about the magma chamber, where we said the magma chamber is the place where magma is stored. Then we talked about the main vent, which connects the magma chamber to the surface. We also talked about the throat, and sometimes there are what we call secondary vents. That is a sub-vent on which connects the main vent to the surface. Normally, those areas also create what we call conelets. That means small cones. We also talked about some of the eruptions that come out from the volcano. We talked about the ash cloud, where we say sometimes the volcano releases what we call ash into the atmosphere, forming what we call ash clouds. Sometimes too there is lava flow. Remember, the only difference between magma and lava is that magma is formed within the crust, and lava is when magma comes to the surface. We talked about layers of lava and ash. That is when they combined and solidify, they form what we call the volcano. So that is what we talked about with the cross-section of an extrusive volcano. Let's answer some few questions on this. We'll be back with more.